This is a Spanish movie and the latest project from Pedro Almodóvar, whose previous work I'm actually not very familiar with. In fact, I haven't seen any of his movies, but his last movie, Julieta, has been on my watch list for quite a while now. And had I remembered, I would have watched that before this. But alas, my memory kinda sucks, so there you go. I went into this knowing basically nothing about his style or his work. And I knew next to nothing about this movie too, going into it. I knew it starred Antonio Banderas and featured Penelope Cruz. And something about the advertising for it made me want to see it. Speaking of which, I've seen this one marketed fairly heavily, which is probably why I actually expected something at least sorta mainstream. Which, well, this isn't. This falls very much into the art house category. And I mean, I don't mind that, but it just didn't necessarily match my expectations going into it. That being said, I definitely didn't expect any sort of blockbuster either. Just something a bit more, I don't even know, straightforward maybe? Because structurally this one's kinda complex, there's a lot of moving pieces. But let's take a step back and start at the beginning with the title sequence. I loved it, it's colorful, it's bright, it's aesthetically pleasing, and it's pretty rare that a title sequence even gets me to pay attention, so kudos for that. And then we get into the actual story here, which is about this aging artist. Or film director, I guess more specifically, played by Banderas. And he's essentially a broken man physically. Nothing's working right and he's in a lot of pain. He's got countless ailments and issues and it's just wrecked his whole body. And we sort of follow him as he struggles along and reconnects with some old friends. And finds out some things about his past as well while trying to figure out what to do next creatively. He's also kinda trying to figure out if there even is a place for him in the creative sphere anymore. And if there isn't, is it even worth going on, considering the circumstances? But at the same time, we also get to see these glimpses into his boyhood as well. So there are these sort of flashback sequences sprinkled throughout. Now strictly narratively speaking, it's kind of a difficult movie to get a handle on. Because it's just kind of fluid, there doesn't seem to be any strict point it's getting at. Or any clear goal it's driving towards, it just kind of floats along. It just seems to lack any sort of poignancy, and I had a real hard time connecting with it. And that was my biggest issue with the movie, I couldn't really connect with it. I mean, on a technical level, it's an extremely well-crafted movie. And the physical performance by Antonio Banderas is really excellent. And there was something intangible about the whole movie that I sorta did like. But at no point did I really connect to almost any of it on a deeper level. I couldn't really relate to the events or even the characters emotionally. However, the movie was kinda mesmerizing in a weird sort of way. It essentially lulled me into this bizarre trance where time just flew by. And then suddenly the credits rolled and the movie was over. And it really didn't feel like I just sat there for 2 hours. Which usually only happens with movies that I'm genuinely enjoying a lot. And I wouldn't really say I actually enjoyed this or even found it to be all that interesting. But as I said, there was something about it. It did have this weird quality to it. That just mesmerized me and made the whole experience just fly by effortlessly. Like I'd stepped into some sort of time warp. Really bizarre, honestly. And that alone made this a very unique experience for me personally. That being said, I can't guarantee anyone else will have an even remotely similar experience. But this is a fascinating movie for sure, although one that's probably not for everyone. And I definitely wouldn't call this mainstream. However, would I recommend this? Well, maybe. If you like your movies slightly more on the artsy side of the spectrum, sure. But if you like your movies to be very linear and straightforward with a strong focus on narrative, then probably not. So I don't know, maybe give this one a chance. Or don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.